Welcome to today's FCICA educational webinar titled Know Before You Go, using the FCICA mobile events app. And we are pleased to have FCICA's own Lizzie Odekirk with us today. Lizzie is currently the Event and Marketing Coordinator for FCICA. She graduated from Michigan State University in 2017 with a Bachelor's in Professional Writing, with additional coursework in Hospitality Business, Project Management, Digital and Print Communications, Grammar and Style, Marketing, Document Design, Web Design, and User Research. She has completed project work for FCICA since 2012, composing marketing materials, launching the social media presence, and more recently managing the mobile event app used during our biannual convention meetings. She has assisted in the coordination, promotion, and execution of FCI's convention and mid-year events for the past 5 years, with record-breaking attendance and engagement. And Lizzie, I will turn the session over to you. Lizzie, we're ready for you at any time. I apologize. We seem to have a technical difficulty. Please just give us a moment so we can get our audio going. All right. Give us just a moment, folks. Lizzie's just having an issue with her audio. We will begin in just a moment. This will give you time to check out that mobile event app that you've downloaded on your phone, I hope. It's pretty cool the way it's got all the information in there, and she's going to go through all the different really cool functions that it has. I mean, you're going to have your schedule on there. You're going to have an entire map of the event, so you can find everything that you need. It's really a great resource for us. She should be back with us in just a moment. All right.
Hello, can you hear me now?
There you are. Great. We are ready for you.
Oh, my goodness. Sorry about the technical difficulties right off the bat, but hopefully they're done and we can move forward from that. So welcome to today's webinar. I'm so glad you all were able to join me. Today we are going to go through just about everything that's on the app. So we'll start with how to get access to it. We'll get into how to find the event, log in, and then all of the features and functionalities of the app. We'll start with talking about the game, the 4-day challenge. We will go over the plethora of information that is available in the schedule. One icon has so much stuff in it. We'll talk about the trade show resources for our annual commercial flooring trade show happening at convention. We'll discuss the difference between the FCICA roster and the attendees icon. We'll go over the company profiles and where you can access those. And then we'll just talk about everything else that's on the app and a couple of things that I recommend you do before or during the event. And then, of course, we'll talk about how you can get some help. So quite a bit going on today. So first up, if you were on a bit earlier, you had the chance to download the app, but if you didn't, you can do so now. If you have a QR scanner, you can do that, or you can check out that link. And I believe you might be able to click it from your screen, but if not, you can type that in. You will need your App Store login either on Google Play or on iTunes in order to download that app, just like normally downloading an app. But you will not need to use an event login if you download the app from the App Store. There will be some locked content, so if you want to get to that content, you will need to log in for the event. But if you don't have that at this time, so if you are not registered for convention, you will not have an event login available to you. Only our convention attendees have access to all of the content on the app, which is even more of a reason to register for convention. And then if you are unable to download the app at this time, you can view it on an internet browser, but as soon as you get to that link, you will be required to log in. So if you're not registered for convention, I recommend you download the app so you can at least see some of the content we'll be going over. But if you are registered for convention, you can do either method and be able to get in. Okay? So next, we will talk about how to log in. It is a little bit of a process. It's not, right away simple off the bat, but it's not too difficult either. When you get into either the app or the website, if you go to the website, it'll automatically pop up, please log in. So you'll enter your first and last name and the email address, and you'll receive that 4-digit code straight to your email address, and then you can go back to your browser and type that code in. If you are on the app, you will need to click the 3-line icon, which is called a hamburger menu, by the way, if you didn't know that. And that is in the top left corner of your event screen. When that menu opens, you'll click Login at the top and follow the same process. If you are on Attendee Hub and don't know how to get to the app, you can just search for FCICA in that search bar, and it'll pop up our event currently happening. At the bottom of the app screen, you'll see past events as well, and you can see all of our other events in the past, which is cool. So you can see all that previous information. So now we will give you just a moment here to log in, and you can go ahead and use the chat box to let me know if you have any problems or if you need your 4-digit code. I am able to look that up for you. And while we are waiting just a moment here, I'll go back to this previous screen so you can see the login instructions. And again, if anyone has any questions, yeah?
I just wanted to say this is not the first event that we've used this event app. How long have we been using this?
We have actually been using event apps since mid-year of 2014. And we have expanded its use at every convention. We have found different ways to incorporate some of our materials. We've figured out best practices for providing information. And really, we've been able to go nearly paperless for our events, which is fantastic.
It is. It makes our content so much more accessible to everyone, doesn't it?
I definitely think it does. I know there are some people who prefer not to use their phones, but you can also access the app on your tablets and again on your computers. So if you're more comfortable with a laptop or with your iPad, you're welcome to access the app on those as well. And again, any internet browser, you can get to it with that link. So if you don't want to download the app on your iPad, you could still use your Safari internet or your Google internet if you downloaded that. So I really do think it provides numerous ways to access the content, and you don't have to lug around a whole bunch of paper like at the events before mid-year 2014.
Right. Hey, Abe, we had a question real quick, Lizzie. Amy wanted to know if this is a different Attendee Hub app than our mid-year one.
So we did used to have FCICA events. It was our own app. We had our own logo on the icon. And unfortunately, that app is no longer supported by Apple. They changed some of their policies and made it quite difficult for us to have that app. So what our third-party app creator, Crowd Compass by Cvent, said is, hey, we've created this other app where we can store your events, and that is the Attendee Hub app. So we still have all of the same content from our previous app, but now it's all stored in Attendee Hub. So it's just one extra step to get to our event. You can't just click on FCICA events anymore. but it was a much better option to get all of our content out on the stores because of those Apple changes.
All right, thank you. If anybody else has any other questions, go ahead and just type those in the question pane, and we'll get your questions answered.
Okay, so at this point, I'm going to move on. So once you are in the app, and I'm taking pictures from the actual app on my mobile device, but if you're looking at it on the browser, it'll be a little bit different. So if you have any questions or concerns about that, go ahead and let us know. But when you're on the app, this is the very first picture you see is the menu that pops out when you click that 3-line menu in the left corner. You can see that menu in the other 2 pictures, those 3 lines. So this first picture is the menu that pops out. If you're not logged in yet, that very top spot where you see my picture and my name, that will tell you to log in. So that's where you click if you haven't logged in yet. If you want to use this menu to access all the content, you can. You can scroll down and see all of the icons from here. And if you go back out of those icons, you'll return to this menu. If you prefer to see all of the icons on your home screen, you can click that home box with the FCICA mid-year 2017. Of course, ours will say convention, and that will take you back to the icons. So for this, I did take pictures of mid-year because I wanted you to see the activity. We don't have any activity on convention yet because it hasn't happened. So you can see when you go to the activity feed on the menu, there's actually 3 different pages in that activity feed. So you can see people are posting in the event feed, and this can be text, this can be pictures, you can go in and like content, you can share directly from sessions, and we'll go over how to do that in a bit. So you can see Mike and I are both talking here, and Mark has posted something down below, and you can scroll through this and see what people are saying. The second button is the social wall. We don't actually use that feature, so you can click it, but you're not going to see anything. And then we have our notifications. Now, this is something that I do. I publish all of these little notifications, and if you have your push notifications turned on for this app, you'll actually receive these sort of like a text message. So you'll get a little alert on your phone, and they're just sort of reminders about the sessions that are coming up, or perhaps you're still at breakfast, but hey, there's a meeting starting in 10 minutes. So they're just useful little reminders if you're not really following the schedule and you just need to know what's coming up next. If you don't want those push notifications turned on so you don't get phone alerts, that's fine. You can come into the activity feed and see them all right here. So now that you're logged into the app, even if you're not logged into the app actually, you can compete in the 4-day challenge. So automatically when you get into the app, you'll probably see a little pop-up at the bottom that says, hey, you've earned some points. And just by clicking around the app and seeing the different content, you'll see that little pop-up with points come up. If you're not logged in, you'll still accumulate those points, but you won't be able to join the leaderboard. If you are logged in, you'll be competing on the leaderboard, and you can turn that off if you'd like. But if not, you'll just accumulate your points, and if you get all of the challenges done, you'll receive the highest number of points, and whoever is at the top of the leaderboard at 6 p.m. on March 20th will win a prize. And we will be watching that very closely. And then, of course, we also have some spouses and guests, and whichever one of those is highest in the leaderboard will also win a prize. They're not usually in the top 10, but that's okay. I can go back and see which one is at the highest out of the spouses and guests, which is nice to include them. We'll announce both winners at the closing dinner, which is on March 20th. And then, again, the game is accessible immediately upon opening the app. So this is going to start right when you come in. So that's why I put it up first. But honestly, the schedule has just about everything you need. It's got, obviously, the timing, the schedule. You can find all your locations for all the meetings in here. So if you see it on the second picture on your right, it says Magnolia EFG at the top. That's the ballroom that this meeting is going to take place in. And this is from the convention app. So we will be in the Magnolia Ballroom for quite a few sessions. And I believe also maybe the trade show. But we'll get to that. So you can click that button up there, and it'll take you straight to a map and show you all of the ballrooms on the floor, and it'll show you exactly where Magnolia EFG is. So you can easily find your way to that session. You can also check in. You can take notes. You can set reminders. You can even create your own schedule. So if you look on that second picture again, you see notes, reminder, add with a plus sign. That's how you add to your own schedule. You can also add to your schedule using the plus sign on the list of sessions. On that first picture, you see that plus sign. You can click those as well. And at the bottom of that screen, you see my schedule. So if you'd prefer to create your own schedule of which sessions you want to attend, you can go ahead down there and see all the sessions that you selected. And then back on that second picture, you can also bookmark this session and you can take photos. This is how you can take a photo and post it to that activity feed. So that'll link directly to your camera. It'll take that photo and then it'll ask you where you want to post it. If you've linked your social media to your attendee profile, and we'll talk about how to do that, you can post that straight to Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn, or you can just put it on the activity feed. So that's how you can do that. The check-ins are the little, that orange button right underneath the title. So you can click that and see how many people have, attended that session. That is optional, you don't have to, but we do highly encourage it. On this screen, you will also see the session description, handouts, speaker details, polling questions, the live Q&A, again, those pictures on social media or the activity feed, and then other similar sessions. So I believe I have another page. Nope, not quite. So if you scroll down on this first session, on that second picture, you already see the live Q&A there. You won't see moderator access. So questions can only be submitted while that session is going on, as well as an hour before and 30 minutes after. So as soon as we hit the right timing at convention, you'll be able to enter questions in there, and I do have a slide about that. And then you scroll down, you can see the description header. That will tell you what's going on in that session. And then we've got polling questions we'll talk about, and then speaker details. So we do actually have a Know Before You Go webinar session in the convention app. So if you're logged in and you're on the schedule with me, you can actually see that webinar session right at the very front of the schedule, and you can see the speaker details. Now I'm in there as the speaker, and if you click on my face, you'll get over to my speaker profile. Now this is part of the FCICA roster, so a lot of people have speaker profiles, but only those who are actually participating in sessions will be listed in the actual speaker header for a session. But you can see my contact information, my title. You can contact me if you'd like. You can also take notes on me. So if you want to write down in there that she knows a lot about the app, you could take that note and you'd be able to get to that from that 3-line menu that we talked about first. And honestly, you can take notes of just about anything. You can take notes on companies, on people, on sessions, and all of those notes will be put in that My Notes part in that first menu. So now again, getting back to our session details, you can see the live polls. And we do have a live poll here, so if you click on that, you can see the questions pop up, and we'll do that in just a minute. You can see the photo section, where to take a photo, and some of the photos will come up in this little section here. And then you can see our handout. So there's a PDF in there for the webinar presentation. And honestly, I think that's an old presentation. I'm not sure I changed that out. So don't use that one. Use the ones that Kelly provided in the handout. And then these tags down here. If you wanted to see what all the other education sessions were, you could click that education and it'll pop up a list of all of the sessions that have that same tag. So that's how you can see other sessions that are similar to this one. Okay, so if you have any questions about all of the things in the session details, just go ahead and let me know. Now we're going to talk about the live Q&A. So this is one of our most favorite features. So when we are actually in an educational session and the speaker is talking or the panel is answering questions and you come up with a question, but you don't really want to raise your hand in the middle of the session, you can actually just submit it right on here. And Kelly or Kim or Sarah or I or Jim, all of the FCICA staff, we all have access to see who's submitting questions. And if we have time at the end, which normally we do, we will let the speaker answer some of these questions. So it's a really cool way to get your question in there while you're thinking about it, but not interrupting the session. And then we'll make sure that as many of these questions are answered as possible. And if we don't have time for all of them, we are able to save those questions and perhaps answer them later for you, or we can have the speaker come back and answer some of those in an email perhaps after convention and send those out. So there's a lot of things that we can do here. So as soon as you think of a question, you can go ahead and enter that during the session. And then with our live polls, again, we have the Know Before You Go webinar. So if you're logged into our app, and I really hope you are, you can click on that live poll button right there, and you can answer which, whoops, I guess we're going to the next page now. Now, I believe Kelly might have to click this to make this work. Do you have to trust this add-in, Kelly?
Let me see if I can get that activated for you.
Yeah, we'll just go to that link. So
here we go.
You can click what you like, and then we can see exactly who is answering up here. Well, not who, but we can see who's putting what answers. So it's really cool. We can do this live during sessions. And you can see, the speaker can ask that question, and then everyone can put their answers in, and you can see these bars moving live as people are answering the questions. So if anyone's on the app right now, you'd be able to answer this. Doesn't quite look like anyone's in there. So that's how the live polling works. It's a really cool feature. We love using it during our sessions, and it makes it just a little bit more interactive for you guys all sitting in the audience. Kelly, can we go back to the PowerPoint?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's how the live polling works, and we do have a bunch of those. I know Kim will do one. Actually, it might be me. Kim or I will do one during the opening session to get you all into the app right away, and then Kelly will work with the speakers to develop some live polls during their sessions. So now going on to the next slide, we'll skip that one. So now we're back to maps. So while you can access all the locations from the schedule, if you want to just get to the maps really quickly, there is a map icon. And you can see all these little red dots. Those are all places that we will be. And I have clicked the one for Magnolia ABCD. That's the full ballroom right there. And like I said earlier, that is where the trade show will be. So you can see all the sessions that are in that location. So we've got the setup, the trade show, and the teardown, all in that ABCD ballroom. We do have a separate map for the trade show, so you can see all of the booths, and you can click and see who's at each booth. And then we have the Beau Rivage hotel property map. We do have a couple other meeting locations that are not in this ballroom section, and so I have the property map there so that you can see where those other sessions will be located, as well as just the entire hotel. If you want to go check out the rest of the resort, it is a casino. You can see the whole property map that I've put in the app for you, so you can go wander around and not get lost. And then we also have the Biloxi City map. We will be having our St. Patrick's Day party on Saturday the 17th. I really hope you're going to join us for that. Should be a lot of fun. And we will be on I believe it's called the Biloxi Green, and it's just down the road from where Beau Rivage is. So a lot of people will be walking from the hotel to the green. And so I've provided the city map so you can see exactly where those two places are located so you don't get lost walking to our St. Patrick's Day party. And then we have all of our trade show resources. Our commercial flooring trade show is the only trade show for commercial installation, and it is very technical. It's not salesy. It's all the technical reps from the companies, so all of our contractors can get their technical questions answered. It's super awesome. So I try to provide as much trade show information that I can for you guys. So for our exhibitors, I do have the AV order form in here. I have the shipping guidelines. And then for everyone, I've got the FAQ that answers a whole bunch of questions about the trade show. And then I also provide an exhibitor directory map here. This will not be the live map like we looked at before with all those red dots. This will just be like a PDF map so that you can take a look at that. You could download it if you want. And it will have all of the companies listed so that you can see, okay, this is where booth 14 is. Booth 14 is, this company. So you don't have to be clicking around on a map to that. So just another way to access that content. And then I also provide a list of exhibitors by booth number and exhibitors in alphabetical order. So just as many ways that I can give you access to content to make your life easier however you'd like to view it. And if there's something that you'd like that I don't have in here, go ahead and let me know, and I'll see if I can make it happen. So now we get into some of the more fun networking type stuff. So we have the FCICA roster, and this is actually locked. So if you are not logged into the app, you cannot see this information. This is all of the contact information for every registered attendee at convention. So we do lock that down, so only our convention attendees can see that. I load all of this in. It's got your name, your title, your contact information, and if you sent me a headshot, it is in there. If you don't like the picture that's in there now, or you haven't sent me one yet, go ahead and do that, and I'll get it in. Then we also have the attendees icon. This is content loaded and managed by you. So when you log in, that's actually your profile for the app. You can add a fun picture. You can add your title, your personal email if you want. If you prefer people not email you at work, you can add your cell phone. You can add all sorts of things on here. You can add your social media in this. And you can also add, I have like a profile website that I like to put up so people can see what else I can do. It's just another way to let people know who you are. And then, so if you are looking at other people, you can take notes on those attendees. You can send direct messages to those attendees. Now, no, those are not private. Those are direct. So I can see what messages you are sending, so don't do anything foolish. But the other attendees won't be able to see those messages. Trust me. And then you can add contacts. So that button will actually add that person to your My Contacts back on that very first menu we talked about. But it'll also send your contact information to that person. So it's really more of an exchange than an ad. Okay, so that's a really cool way to network with attendees. So if you're talking to an exhibitor and you want to exchange contact real quick so you can follow up with them after convention, that's a perfect way to do it. So you don't have to hand out business cards. You can just do it on the app, and you will have access to this app after convention and pretty much forever until we end this. Like I said, you can get to those past FCICA events on Attendee Hub, so you can get back to this information later. And I have had people tell me they go back into the app and find, contact information for a company that they remembered, had a product or solved an issue. So this app has been useful to our attendees later after the event. Okay, so I really hope that when you log in, that you update your profile, and you will get points for the game. So if you're looking to win that game, something to do. Now, we've talked about the people profiles, but we also have company profiles. So not everyone will have a profile. The companies that automatically have profiles are your Platinum and Gold sponsors, which are our Platinum and Gold members of FCICA, and our trade show exhibitors. So it's pretty much going to be mostly manufacturers, couple distributors, things like that. So pretty much none of the contractors, which is unfortunate, but we haven't quite figured out how to feature them. So just a real quick shout out to our sponsors. Thank you to Flexco, Rofi, and Federated Insurance for being our banner sponsors. And then a big thank you to BNP Media and Floor Trends. They are providing our splash screen, which is actually of the Flooring Contractor magazine, which is published by us. And they will also have a banner in our app that will take you to the Floor Trends online magazine. So they are doing a bit of a trade with us, and they're really supporting our organization right now, which is great. So big thank you to them. And then we also have our premier trade show exhibitors. So these guys have really supported the app in a way that they want to put more content in, and they get a little more recognition for being in the trade show, and they'll have a trade show premier exhibitor sign on their booth and all that stuff. So some companies will have a bit of extra information. You can add marketing content. So like I have the description of FCICA in there. You can add any words you want in that section, pretty much. Additional contact information. You can add documents, so cut sheets or like a marketing catalog or pretty much whatever you want. And then our social media links show up right there at the top, and then logos again. And then you can take notes on those organizations, and you can also bookmark them. So it's really easy to get back to organizations that you really networked with well and you want to follow up with them, or however you want to handle that. So company profiles can be accessed from the sponsor icon, from the exhibitor's trade show icon, also from maps. So if you go to the trade show map, you can click those red dots, see who's at that booth, and that'll actually take you to their company profile. It is all the same information, but you can get to it from a bunch of different places. And then we just have so much information on this app. We have info for first-time attendees, which is great for those attendees who haven't been to an FCICA event before. They might not know what meetings they're able to go to. So we provide them a little bit of guidance on, what are the successors and what the successors do and what meetings they have that you can go to as a successor. We also have info for contractor attendees and associate attendees, what meetings you can go to and all that stuff. We also have all of our silent auction and raffle items under the silent auctions button. Again, there's our maps, there's our exhibitors, there's our trade show info, there's the 4-day challenge, so you can get to all of that from this homepage. We also have the convention info button that has a whole bunch of different sheets in there about, the hotel, about Wi-Fi access, about our community service event that we're hosting, all sorts of things in there. So make sure you check that out and read all those pages. And then you can see the FCICA roster versus the attendees. There's two different icons, and they're on the very top, and then the third row all the way to the right. And then if you haven't really learned about our SIM program, or if you are in the SIM program and want to, sign up for lab hours perhaps, there's our SIM program icon, and you can get to all of that from in there. Or you can also just talk to Kelly. That works too. So we really do have a whole bunch of information in here. There is a second screen with a whole bunch of icons on that as well. There's our post-event survey, which is really important for us to get that feedback about our events. There is a search button. If you're not quite sure where to find something, you can search for it. There's a QR code scanner and all sorts of additional things. So if you're on our app, you can, scroll around those different icons and see what all is in there. But we really have so much information available to you. And if there's anything that you think of that we really should have, let me know. Here is a couple of tips and tricks that I have thought about and said, these are things that you can do beforehand or during to just make the app a bit more personal to you and what you're trying to achieve. So again, you can upload your profile picture and let people know who you are. You can create your own schedule just to help you guide yourself through a convention event. You can bookmark what raffle and auction items you might want to go for. You can also bookmark trade show exhibitors that you'd like to talk to. And you don't have to do that during the event. You can go through now and start thinking about who you want to reach out to, who you want to go talk to about a product or about a solution. So you can do that prior to the event even. And that just makes it more, time efficient during the event, so you don't have to mess around with some of these things. And then also engage with others. Really take advantage of some of the features on this app. You can exchange that contact information like we talked about. You can share photos and start a discussion in the activity feed. It doesn't have to just be, photo posts. You could really go in the activity feed and ask a question and see who else, thinks about that or has an answer for you. Again, you can directly message someone. Perhaps you want to meet up during lunch and talk about something, or you want to meet them at a networking event and introduce them to someone. So you could directly message that person at any time. Perhaps you're in a session and you thought about it, but you don't want to, run across the room and talk to them. So you can use that messaging feature. And then we have a whole lot of first-time attendees. It is awesome. We're breaking records at this event. So help a first-time attendee use the app or meet someone new. Make sure they find some mentors on site. There's so many awesome people at these events and so much information that you guys are so great about sharing. So make sure those first-time attendees really get a lot out of convention. Whoops. And then if you need help, there is an app help icon on the app, which can guide you through all sorts of things that the app can do. If you have questions and you don't want to dig through the app, you can email me at any time. You can also find me at Convention 2018. Now, just so everyone knows, I will be out of the office for about 2 weeks right before convention, which is quite unfortunate, but had to happen. So if you have questions and emailing me won't work while I'm gone. You can call the office, and Sarah can answer any of your questions. Kelly can probably answer some questions. Kim can answer questions about convention and trade show, but not necessarily about the app. But you can definitely reach out to the other staff of the FCICA, and they can, help you as much as they can. And then I'll be back for convention, so if you want to hit me up at convention, I can help you out. Okay, and that is what I have. We've gone through just about everything in the app. So if you have any questions, you can go ahead and enter those in the questions panel or in the chat, and we can help you out with that. And I really hope you get a lot out of this app. We work really hard on it, and I really do want to make it as useful for you as possible. So if you have any suggestions or feedback, go ahead and let me know that. If you're having trouble logging in, let me know and I'll get you in. All sorts of things.
All right, Lizzie, it looks like while we're waiting for questions to come in, again, if you have any questions for Lizzie about the event app, go ahead and type them in the question pane, and she'd be happy to answer them. I just had a quick question, Lizzie. I know in the past there was a feature on there where you could email yourself notes. Can you still do that on this app?
Absolutely. So once you type those notes, whether in a session or on a person or for an exhibitor, wherever you type those notes, they all go into the My Notes section on that first menu that we talked about. And in there is a little export button, so you can send those to yourself as an email. There may be some other ways to do that, but emailing is usually the fastest. And it'll just send all of your notes to you.
Great, thank you. I know that was a really great feature for many attendees in the past. So then you can have an actual copy. So for those people who like to print things off, you can send one to your computer and print it off.
Right.
All right. It looks like we don't have any questions at this point. I guess you covered pretty much everything we need. Like Lizzie mentioned, she'd be happy to answer any questions. Elizabeth at FCICA.com, or our office number is 248-661-5015. And so we're going to go ahead and close the session for today. But again, contact Lizzie if you have any issues, and if she's not available, we'd be happy to, the rest of the staff would be happy to help you out. And so we want to thank you, Lizzie, for presenting today's webinar.
Of course, it was a lot of fun.
Good, thank you. It's very helpful. Again, any additional questions, go ahead and contact us here at the office. If you're not registered for a convention, you're going to miss a great event. So you can check out our website, FCICA.com, and click on that events tab, and it'll let you know the schedule and all that we have going on. And then if you have any questions, just contact us. You're going to receive an email following this session, not only with a link to the recording so you can review it again as you go through learning about our app, but also a brief evaluation and a copy of the presentation slides. Please take a moment to complete that evaluation. We really appreciate your feedback. And so this concludes our session. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.